Hey, everybody. Hey, it's February 1st. Happy February 1st. We've made it to February. All right, week 5. Oh my gosh, I love this section. I love the definition essay. I think you guys will enjoy it too. So let's take a look at the way the week, kind of the method to the madness for PK's week 5. Our focus is on the definition paper, which if you think about the weighting article, I refer to it a lot. So if you have not yet read or watched the screencast supporting the weighting article, Weighting Becoming a Luxury, you're missing out on a lot because I took that article and I sort of deconstructed it and talked about it and talked about its organization. So I refer to it a lot. The weighting article really is a definition argument, if you will. She spends the entire article kind of discussing either the way, maybe both, the way the word weighting began and the evolutions that have taken place in the expression of weighting. So it's not that who knows, maybe she went, you know what? I feel like talking about weighting today. I think I'm going to write and define how weighting has changed. Okay, and so that might be the impetus. I don't know what her impetus was for writing that article, but the article is a really great definition paper article because it really just the whole argument is hinging on defining and redefining weighting through the different behaviors, or maybe weighting changed when we got technology where everything started to become instant. So that's a great definition paper or article. I've got, so you could start here. I tell you, start here. This really should actually be up here. This is sort of the bold, like, ta-da, the definition paper. So what is it? You can click here, find out what it is. Oh, that thing's going to be erased because I've already got it somewhere else. Official definition paper instructions. You will definitely want to read those. I believe, if I'm not incorrect, yes, that they have, I don't know why it's showing two of them. There's a screencast that goes with those instructions that will help you a little bit. What else? Let's see. Let me get back down to week 5. Not week 6. Okay, so I'm not going to click open any links because it takes too long to get back over here. Okay, so you can do them yourself. I made this little screencast. When is the definition of terms necessary in arguments? I have to take these continuing add things with Cal Poly on everything from if there was a chemical attack on campus, what do I do to, I guess some of the courses are on intimidation or, discrimination. So I decided when I took the little course, I thought, you know what, I'm going to make a screencast of these screenshots so that they'll see that part of what was being discussed is, sorry, had to chide one of my dogs so they don't make a ton of noise while I'm doing the screencast. Okay. So I made this really short screencast after I took the course, the required little course, because I thought they did a really good job, and it makes a ton of sense that in order to talk about something like campus rape, we have to talk about the word consent and how it's defined. So this is just a great little, I thought, hey, here's a real world example. You can watch that. Here's where I want you to participate in a discussion. Here's where you can talk about your possible topics for the definition essay. It's a discussion, but you're still ending up selecting a topic through this process. I gave you here an optional article to read. It's from Psychology Today, which is, I don't want to call it pop psychology magazine, but it's not really the databases, so it's still a popular press magazine. But I thought the writer did an okay job making its distinction between the subconscious and the unconscious. How do we tell the difference? So in a way, this is a definition article because the article is going to argue that there are ways to determine the subconscious and the unconscious from one another. And it was pretty interesting read, even if I used it here for an example of a definition kind of argument. Here you have a really short little quiz. It's a 2-minute quiz. It's simple. I give you kind of the down and dirty what I think about paragraphs. And really pretty much what I say about them, if you look at the quiz, pretty much how I'm going to grade it. So if I tell you I think a paragraph is optimal for the reader at 10 to 14 or 15 lines, and you go ahead on your paper and just plow through and write page-long paragraphs, you're going to lose points, okay? Probably by now you realize that a couple of my pet peeves: active verbs, decent length paragraphs, okay? Those are probably my two things that as writers you should have control over: your verbs and your paragraphs lengths. Okay, those are two things that you can do for your reader that will assist them greatly. Okay, I've got a FAQ page that I'll probably add to as people ask me more questions about the definition paper. We're going to have a reading in the they say, I say, skeptics may object, planting a naysayer in your text. You will like this, because as you're writing your definition essay, one of the requirements is that you must have a concession. So this chapter does a really good job at explaining why we need to kind of have the skeptic voice in our arguments. So be sure to read that. It has a quiz with it. It's not published yet. You can see the little dot, okay? This is the peer edit doc that we're going to use for peer editing. We're going to be peer editing our papers through Canvas. I did this last quarter. It was a little bumpy, but it worked. So I foresee that this quarter will be a little smoother. But it's kind of a confusing process, I'm going to tell you right now. Maybe you guys have had success with it in other classes where you were able to peer edit other papers. So we're going to give it a shot through Canvas, and that is, notice the date. I want you to complete it. So what it looks like is the definition paper is officially assigned. Sorry, it's officially assigned. So you have this whole week. What I'm looking for, this is what it looks like to me. You're assigned the definition paper. You pick a topic. You start brainstorming your topic. All right, this other stuff kind of comes in here, helps you realize how long should my paragraphs be. Don't edit as you write. Create. Spend the time creating. You don't need to create and edit as you write. That's too hard for your brain. Just start pounding out kind of, a brainstorm. Start brainstorming what you think once you see maybe some of the examples. So my kind of what I'm thinking is you're going to get this draft out by the weekend, I think, and it's what I've got in here kind of wrapped in this cycle around here. So you're going to be submitting your paper. Notice it says mandatory completion. So you might, you're going to submit it as a draft, but it also is going to have a mandatory element to it, that is the peer editing. All right, so that's why down here, I'm sorry, let me just look really quickly. Notice down here, in next week, in the middle of the week or so, I don't know when it is, I have the workshop and the submission date's a little bit mixed up. Okay, so the submission date is next week. So this definition, this is the peer edit workshop right here. So you'll have over the weekend to, I know that sounds yucky because nobody likes to think of, oh great, thanks Professor PK for sucking up our weekend. Well, what I mean is I want you to submit the rough draft by Saturday, and then by, I think I'll have to look. It seems like maybe by Tuesday, your peer gets it back to you, or somehow it gets back to you. And so that in week 6, about the middle of week 6, maybe later in week 6, you can turn in the final draft. Okay, I know I'm sorry I'm bumbling and fumbling along here. I feel like I've had, I don't know, just kind of an intense weekend within my elderly mom. So I'm sorry that my brain's a teeny bit fuzzy as I move my focus over here to you guys where it belongs, particularly during the week. All right, so again, I'm sorry that I'm sounding just kind of like tongue-tied. Just start somewhere. You do know that you're going to have, because you can look at the course schedule and you can see when everything's due. You know what's coming up in each week. So I've kind of filled in the paperwork that helps you get all that accomplished. The thing I'm definitely going to add in here that I don't have in here yet, or actually don't have it visible, I haven't moved it into this week yet. I'm going to add some samples of previous papers and let you see. Maybe I'll try and find week ones and strong ones just to give you a difference between maybe a weak, okay, kind of a medium and then a super strong one. I've got to make sure that I, redact names and make sure that they're good samples for you to follow. Okay, I think you're gonna like this week. It's yes, you're starting a paper, but that's okay. It's not a long paper, and I think that because I've trimmed down this week, kind of streamline it, and this is all focused on the definition. I really streamline it so that you don't have a bunch of extra stuff. You could actually start once you figure out your topic. You can just start pounding it out. Don't wait for me to tell you what to do next. Just, once you look right here, once you go to this prep for topic selection, you're going to be able to find your topic, either the ones you post or you're going to look through your peers' topics and maybe one of theirs looks better to you than yours do. That's totally okay. Actually, I could assign the same topic to everybody and you would all still write different papers. So I don't want you worrying about, oh, I want to use something that someone else in the class brought up. That's totally fine. That is one of the main reasons that I have you do discussions with each other, not just to keep you interacting and trading ideas and sharpening yourself as academics, but so that you can get ideas from each other. Sometimes I might have, let's say I had an idea and then I go along and say, wow, this idea of this other person is really interesting. I really want to write on that. I'm going to do it. Well, you don't have to say where, you have to tell me, oh, I got this from somebody else's idea. It doesn't matter. The paper is your idea, not the topic. Okay, I'm going to pull the plug on my screencast right now before it cuts me off. I hope that sets you up okay for week 5. I'll be in touch with you regularly, through email. We'll be in Zoom on Tuesday, so no worries. Talk to you guys soon.